South Africa's National Film and Video Foundation recently commissioned a baseline survey on the economic potential of the country's film industry. In an interview with tonight's Political Exchange, Karima Brown asked CEO Zama Mkhosi what the study has found.
It is definitely exciting, the findings that came out of that study, and the key findings that I think we should all be excited about is the contributor into the national economy. The study found that the film industry contributes directly and indirect spend 3.5 billion into the economy, and this is just for the year 2012 because that was the period that we focused our study in. But over and above that, it creates an estimated 25,000 equivalent permanent jobs. So that is equivalent. So that means actually the number of people that are employed on the freelance basis or on a temporary basis is way more than that. But the permanent equivalent is 25,000 jobs over a period of 12 months. But something that is even more exciting, which you alluded to in your introduction, was the economic multiplier effect. That for every 1 rand that is spent, an additional 1.89 rand is also spent in the economy. So that means that the economic multiplier effect for the film industry is 2.89. So that is something that also I think is good news for the investors.
Now, why was it important to conduct such a study? I mean, often when people talk about films, people think only in entertainment value, you know, or what that value proposition. As someone who concludes these very big deals in the industry, you can, of course, take us through some of the key economic value propositions of this industry. Why did you guys feel it necessary to embark on a study like this?
It is always a very key starting point that even before you engage investors on individual deals, that you have the intelligence that is necessary, that you have the economic intelligence that you can put before potential investors. And that for us, I think, is what we discovered that was missing for the film industry, that there was no reliable data that we could fall back on and say, you know, this is the impact that the film industry has in the economy. And so it was very critical for us to create that baseline so that it forms the starting point for our conversations with potential investors. Because you know, before anyone engages in deciding whether they are going to invest or not, they need to know the size of the industry. They need to know what are the key plans. They need to know the value chain. They need to know the economic realities of the different segments of the value chain. And so for us, this is exactly the kind of outcomes that we drew from the study, which we can then apply in our engagements with potential investors.
Now, one of the findings, of course, that's been summarized is that the industry has almost doubled in size over the last 6 years. And then, of course, also in Gauteng, the film industry contributes a few billions to the provincial GDP. What do you ascribe this growth in the film industry to, Zama?
Primarily, I think at this stage, it has been the kind of investment and focus from the South African government. I think the South African government, through the Treasury and the kind of investment that they put into the allocation to the Department of Arts and Culture, and therefore through to the agencies like ourselves, because the NFVF is an agency that is responsible for spearheading the development of the film industry. It's established in terms of the Act to do exactly that. And the allocation that has been given by government to entities like ourselves to make sure that we put programs in place that are going to see that growth has increased, you know, over the past couple of years. But over and above that, government also made available an incentive through the Department of Trade and Industry that is specifically targeted towards the film industry, and that played a key role in activating, you know, more productions being made, because it made it financially possible for people to invest. So I think that has been one of the key things that we're able to kick the industry into action.